What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Back with another one here. Y'all, we know we moving right along. I think the boys might be on break right about now. I think the only guys that are really going right now maybe is like the guys getting ready for their pro day and stuff like that. Guys gonna come back, finish off their spring practice, and boom, it's gonna be over. And it's like, it seemed like yesterday they were in the bowl game and the young guys were there, and it was like they're gonna be coming on campus next month. And here we go. Boom, boom, boom. It's been a few months, really, at this point. This time is moving. And it just makes you think, how things change. Things are different. One thing that Bucky said, and I think he was joking with Jimmy Horn, he was saying, it's different without y'all. Because that one thing that life brings is a difference. Like, you grew with those people because y'all pretty much came in together. I think Jimmy and them came the second year. But you had Xavier Weaver, them there. And, well, no, was Jimmy there the first year? Yeah, they both came together. Xavier Weaver only had 1 year, and then he had 2. So when you really think about a lot of them guys, they kind of went through this thing together, almost like hazing, for the lack of better terms. They went through this whole transition, me against the world, hey, no, you can't do it. They built relationships. And even some of the guys that came this second year, you see with the Jordan Seaton and all those guys who are building out for the future. These guys were there in a pivotal time, and it was a short pivotal time to me because, yeah, they haven't proven a whole lot, but they've proven a whole lot by having that winning record. You're talking about 9-3 during the regular season, from a 4-8, from a 1-11 before that. And so it's a special thing that those guys were a part of, and it's a bond that they have. And we talk about them and what they could and what they should have done. It's some things that, as a fan, you want to see. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like, wow, these guys really, they made a good change. And it's a foundation that the next guys got to stand on. And it's a good foundation to stand on. If you're not coming to a losing program, you have to maintain a winning one. So the standard is not low. I didn't joke, but the standard was like low last year seemingly because it's like, hey, get to a bowl game. But that really was a big deal for the program they ain't did it in a while and ain't won in a while. In my eyes, I said, you better than that, but that's a big deal. The standard is no longer acceptable just to win or just to go to a bowl game. The standard is the championship. You shooting for that and nothing else because you know what it takes. You close. You have what it takes. And you got to look at it like, I hear people starting to talk about it, where it's a common sense where you think about this team doesn't have a lot of name brands on it, which can make people look over them. You don't have big names as of now. Maybe they can become it. Maybe some of them young, like a Juju. You have a Jordan Seaton, but the breakout players haven't been identified like you had last year. You knew who Travis Hunter was coming in. And then you had what he did the first season. What is he going to do the next season? Well, a lot of those key players are gone. And it's time for a new set of guys to make their mark. Somebody's going to have to make a mark, especially winning. Somebody's going to be that guy. You just don't know who. So it's different than what you've been in the last couple of years. You followed Shador and Travis. They had a standard. They had a reputation for what they brought. It just was a question of, can they pull it off at this level and all of that? But you knew who they were, especially as you followed them. When you look at now, it's like, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Who's going to be the starting running back? Who's going to be the receiver? There's a lot of questions. There's no real sure uncertainties. Nobody's name is just wrote in. And you have an idea of some guys, but it's not absolute. And that's a good thing because you can't really key in on this team like you could. You know who's going to be the quarterback with Shador. You study his weaknesses or whatever, Travis Hunter. I don't know if you live his weaknesses, but everybody have them. But, he played both sides, and you try to kind of take advantage of that. It was hard to do. You can't really prepare. That's why it's good for them to have that spring game for the hype. But it's almost like if they go out there and do really good, you take away the mystery. You put them eyes back on them versus let them slide in incognito into the regular season. Everybody like, whoa, what is that? You kind of give them a taste if you really go against somebody else and you show what you really have. It's kind of good to let them underestimate you at this point. because when they underestimate you and you're good, they're going to be in real trouble. And I think they have potential to be a really solid team. From what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing that they're moving quick. They just look like a different type of team. And I've heard coaches say it, I've heard content creators say it, and I've seen with my own eyes the energy, the difference. It's like, it's expectation, right? It's different on building on uncertainty and then on building on expectation. It's like the kid who's the second child. The oldest child had to kind of figure it out on their own, set a reputation. Then you such and such brother, he come in like, I already know what to do. And it's like this group here, they're building on a foundation of winning. And they're not starting from scratch. It looks like they're starting from scratch because it's like they got new players. But like other culture teams who just continue to win, they're building on a culture now. They're building on the expectation now. This is what we do. I don't care who come in, a whole new group. They're going to fit in because of the culture. And you really got a culture when it go with the coach change. Usually when somebody from inside take over, but that's the next level of it. But right now you got the same coaching style. The expectations, they really drill it into the guys. I don't like this, I don't like that, this is what I expect. And they real intentional about it because they don't want that to be a hindrance to this team. But I don't think you can deny, if you really, really know what you're looking at, the talent or just the overall ability of this team. This team has the ability to shock a lot of people in a lot similar fashion that Arizona State did last year. Like, the bottom was checking for Arizona State. You don't want to rank last. You ain't really did nothing in your last conference. But they had some pieces. And they played as a team, clearly. And, man, that last stretch, they really pulled it off. They almost pulled it off all the way through the playoff. You have to watch teams that, a lot of times when you really look at it, for example, like when you looked at like Brady, he became Brady. He wasn't Brady, he was nobody. He was barely drafted. And he just became Brady. I think Aaron Rodgers did something similar. They just really just became that guy. And what's even more interesting about it is they became that guy and the team became that team. Brady was a no-name. The Patriots was really like, nobody was checking for the Patriots. They didn't have a winning tradition at that point. They didn't have a bunch of superstars. Even once Brady started winning, it wasn't a lot of superstars. They would go get a guy who's at the end of his career and bring him in like a Randy Moss, Blunt, certain guys. But they had a lot of position players, people who played their role. And they played it well, but there was no super name brand person, college or pros. And that became the trademark for them. I mean, Brady could build his legend there very easily because it didn't really rival with nobody else. And it make him look like he just really a stud because he's doing it without all the names. But those people are very good at what they do. They just wasn't name brands. You ain't see him get sacked a lot. You don't remember nobody names, any Hall of Fame on the line. At least at this point. Maybe we had Gronk. Maybe he'll be a Hall of Famer or something like that once he finally settled down. But outside of that, nobody really got a lot of attention. And Colorado remind me of that type of team at this point. They got some strong, talented people, but they all kind of like, nobody really sticks out at this point above the other. Maybe not for long, but I don't think it would ever be like what Shador did. It was just so many factors. He was Coach's son. He's a Sanders. He had something to prove. A potential Heisman first rounder coming from HBCU, FCS. That storyline. And Travis Hunter, is he undersized? Can he do it at this level? He's young. Is he good as people think he is? And all of that. They were bigger than life. True generational talents. They are the talents of their generation. They are the people who the kids look up to. They are influencers on social media. And that just really just far outweighed the scales. A lot of other guys just typical college players, good college players. But they weren't gonna get them cameras going behind them like that. Then you add the well-off media and all the other ones, reach the people, all that. It don't really help. Got paparazzi type feel, paparazzi type energy when it comes to how the media treated them and still treat them. They won't be going through that. I mean, they still got the coach there. They still got the celebrity coaches there. They still got that, but the players, they may take a little less heat because they're not a Sanders and they're not a big name. But they will benefit from the likes that come with the Coach Primes. And now you got Sab. You have Left Wedge. You have Marshall Falk, Pico. You have so many people there. It's going to be interesting one way or another, but different at the same time. We shall see. I'm just Greg said, and make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to y'all soon.